Boring breakdowns. At first glance, this simply looks like the athlete on the right, Andy Risti, is getting hit by a low kick from Giorgio Petrosian. His response was a simple but incredibly effective strategy at taking away a big part of Petrosian's offense. Let's check it out. Before I really start teaching, let's just break down what happens in this initial sequence. Here we see Risti keeping his distance. Petrosian throws the low kick, lands the low kick, and Risti throws a jab that's out of range. Petrosian is able to parry. Let's look at where this goes and explain a bit more what is going on. I often tell my students about Southpaw orthodox formats to be very careful of how much distance there is. You are at the risk of overcommitting and being left in a vulnerable position to be countered. A lot of my homies from the UK can relate to the saying of mind the gap. The London Underground has signs all around saying to mind the gap when you're stepping onto the trains. Same thing here. When you guys are initiating offense, it's important to mind the gap so you don't get countered by the southpaw. Here, Petrosian is going to throw the low kick, which interrupts Andy Risti's right hand. From here, Risti gets touched by the low kick, but he's very sensitive to not overcommit as the counterattack. What does he fire? He fires the left jab. Now, why is the left jab such a simple but effective option? From here, he's able to touch Petrosian with a counterattack while by and large staying in his stance, as opposed to throwing something else off of the rear side, which would require his gut to be twisted. When you are in a twisted position, it's much more difficult to recover back to your standard orthodox stance, and in that time you're trying to recover, you could be countered. So again, from here he gets low kicked, returns with the jab, where he is essentially still in that orthodox position. Let's look at how Risti builds off of this jab return. Now, there's no need to be splitting tools too narrowly. If you can jab as a return to the left low kick, you can jab as a return to the left middle kick. Here, Petrosian is going to throw the left middle kick, Risti is going to brace, and again, in a very uncommitted counterattack, is going to fire his left jab as a return. Notice what this does to Petrosian's guard, forces him to pull it up. As he parries, again, the damage had already been done. Now, let's look at some of the follow-ups. Like anything, the follow-ups take a good bit of prior conditioning. Once Risti conditioned Petrosian for the jab, we noted in that last example Petrosian's guard coming up high. Let's look at how Risti follows up. Petrosian throws the left kick. Risti responds with the uncommitted jab, pulls Petrosian's guard up. He is in this defensive position, and Risti decides to go downstairs in response to the high guard from Petrosian. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment them below. If you like this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe to get notifications for new videos, and thank you so much, guys. Boring breakdowns.